everyone's doing well today. Crazy to think, midway through the week. But hey, means we're getting closer to done with the week. Today's just continuing this. We got the music in the background. It's gonna do it with the volume. And last time, we got a lot done in terms of random shit. That I don't even fully remember everything we drew. I just know we have weird shit like this. But the whole point today is just to draw random shit that pops into my mind, and it all starts from the singular dot. One big dot in the middle, and you draw going out, and everything has to be connected in some form. Ah, yes, the giraffe fighting a lampant. So, for example, like, this Kirby is on stilts, where one is broken into what looks like a waterfall, while also having an alien come out of it, one of its star eyes, with a rabbit with a laser gun fighting a mimic. It's weird. But that's the whole point, being weird. Let's start with something a bit more simple. Something a bit more just, yeah. It doesn't look completely right. I'd need to get it all in one stroke. Come on, there we go. So, how are you guys today? God dang it, I freaking moved my hand weirdly. I do hope you're all well. If not, I do hope it gets better. And then I hope you feel better too, if you are sick, etc. It is a nice day though today. Some sun in the sky, birds singing, flowers freezing. It's a nice day out. And I like nice days. Three-dimensional omega symbol. Or in some cases, some people think of it as the God of War symbol. But, yeah. Sometimes, just gotta draw what comes to your mind. I know this isn't like a actual like challenge or anything for artists, but it's still a cool thing to do. I don't expect it to take any root of any sort, but if it did, that would be pretty cool. I just know that right now, I don't even know what this is. I guess it's some form of communication stone. Still cool. Thinking about everything that kind of just comes to your brain from different things. Be them weird, be them fancy, etc. Because it creates a bunch of interesting things. And it's nice. I know that my art streams are probably some of my least performing ones, but I never came here to do things that perform well. I came here to do things that I enjoy. One of which being art. And yeah, I know some people can be annoyed by it, but that's up to them to be annoyed. Like, I honestly enjoy doing art and being able to just take the time to chill with chat. Because it's nice. It's more of a relaxing type stream. And it adds a lot more to the possibilities of just streaming in general, when you can do things you enjoy as well. Because I know not everyone is the same. I am someone who is, compared to some of my friends, I'm definitely more family friendly. That's for sure, but even then, I don't even know what some of this stuff is supposed to mean off top of my head. But does it need to mean anything is the question. Sometimes you just gotta draw random stuff, and you'll figure out what you're going to do with it in the future. It's one of the cool things about this. You can connect everything with some of the most random shit, and it would make sense. Because sometimes most random shit fits in a lot better ways than some people may realize. They don't need to physically connect, but they still are connected. Because it's just how it is. It's still fun. I know this morning I had to deal with my dogs who decided, you know what, we're gonna create mess. So I had to deal with that. And it wasn't even like an actual like big mess, it was just annoying of a mess, which creates a whole nother thing to deal with. Turning my audio down so it's easier for you guys to hear me as well, but it's like, really, dogs? Really? I don't even know what this is supposed to be. But I can think of some things. With a little bit of idea work. Because sometimes that's all you need is some ideas and some random thoughts, because you can make some weird ass shit. But it's fun. It's nice to be able to kind of like do this type of stuff. I know one thing I do have planned that I haven't had much of a chance to do anything with. At least not yet. Is my PC setup stuff, because I just need to get a few more things, and yeah, I just need to get some stuff done with it too. Because a lot of it is mainly setup now, as well as like making sure certain things work. And yeah, that's just part of it, but still an interesting thing to think about. Because you don't expect it to be like this big thing all the time, but it can be. I know it's a very interesting thing looking back at when I first started collecting this stuff for a PC. And if anything, art streams will always be on my laptop. That's for sure. Mainly because it's easier to stream off my laptop. But it's interesting looking back versus now, and it's like, I started this not expecting much. And honestly, I still don't expect much. But it's kind of crazy that I can, like, do the things I do now. Because, like, it took so long to learn how to draw, to understand everything with streaming, etc. And I think the best way to explain it is just practice. Because I have spent so much time, so much effort, and I just never got the chance to practice a lot, I guess, at times. But when I did get those chances, I use them to my fullest. And it created all sorts of different things that I may not fully understand now, but still have their use and things. And that's alright with me. No, I'm gonna just slide it over there. But something about this in specifics, something about it just resonates with me. And I don't know if it's like something big, something small, or what, but I know I'm happy. And I think that's enough for me to at least be able to accept stuff and grow. I know that where I'm at now is not where I expected. I expected a completely different path for myself, but I know that no matter what, those paths may constantly change and grow and evolve, and it's the same for everyone. Nothing is stagnant, and that is such an important thing to think about, is nothing is stagnant, nothing is the same, and that's okay. And you should be proud that you've moved somewhere if you have moved forward in areas that you never thought you would, and more. Because when I was younger, I never really was someone who could draw well. I never was that type of person. I was someone who spent a lot of time doing more physical stuff with my art. More stuff like Play-Doh and clay, if you get me. And that's kind of where a lot of my art strength lies, because of how much I used to do it. But with everything I do now, I've learned to accept myself better, but also accept that my strengths have changed. I'm no longer as good as I once was with sculpting, but I haven't left it behind. And I think it's the same with everyone in some form, even if we realize it or not, that no matter what we do, things are always going to change. But that's okay. And yeah, it might suck at times. We might not like where we are, but it doesn't mean we have to be stuck where we are. I know for me, I felt stuck for so long until I started doing this. I want to make it more of something that I can do to make people happy, etc. But I found that just doing entertainment in general is something I enjoy a lot. Just as a person in general who never really... I felt a lot of the pain and stuff from younger years, and I know that stuff has changed for a lot of things nowadays, but it's kind of crazy, because I know if I told my younger self I would be here, I wouldn't have believed it. That I would be doing stuff online, trying my damnedest, even if I'm not popular, but where people actually, in some form, still care enough to watch at times. And it's not even all the time just, oh yeah, we are watching you live, but sometimes it is just, yeah, we watched it afterwards, etc. And stuff like that is just, it's weird to look at now, because I know for me, I never thought I would make myself something past what, you know, I was seen as back then, and it's kind of crazy to look now, knowing what's changed. And I think that's one of the coolest things to look at for anyone, especially now, who may feel like they're behind on themselves, etc., is to think about what did you once think you would be or where you would be, because that plus the thoughts of no matter what, there's always something positive. You just gotta look for it. Train yourself to look for it. And I think that's a very useful thing to do because it's a very important necessity, especially nowadays when a lot of people just don't have that type of coping skill to do it healthily because of society mainly and not teaching it, which that's a whole nother issue. But nonetheless, it's still exciting to just do stuff you enjoy. I know, like yesterday, I jailbroke my 3DS because it would not update for the life of me until I jailbroke it. And Nintendo support would not help me for shit for the longest time, so it was literally my last resort just to update my damn 3DS. It's like, really, Nintendo? Which says something, that I need to jailbreak it for it to actually, like, okay, final update. Which adds a whole new question of why. Just why. Because it's not like there was a reason for it to be that way either. It was just the 3DS being the 3DS. I also got with everything transferred into my Pokemon Home, because I had to update my 3DS to do that. Yay. Because it's like I had some Pokemon I needed to transfer, like Furfrou, from my Pokemon X and Y, but Pokebank was like being annoying. And so that was another reason I needed to update, was to fix that, and lo and behold, it fixed it. Wow, what a surprise. And I was able to actually fully complete a just dex. I have a full living dex of every Pokemon. And honestly, I'm proud of myself for even getting that far in any form, because I never expected it. And I think that's one of the coolest things, is like when you get to those. I say like a bunch of stuff, and I know I don't mean to repeat myself at times too. And I know that's like a human thing to do, psychology speaking. But the whole point of it is just to kind of be here and chill. I know that my whole point right now is just chilling, relaxing, enjoying the chill music, and just talking about random shit. Like, when drawing, I don't think all the time. I just draw. Unless I am doing a commission, I don't think, I just draw. I just let my hand guide me. And it may lead to some nicer drawings, it may lead to some weirder drawings, but it's always nice when you just get to let it do its thing. And even when you don't, you still get these kind of moments where you're just looking at it and you just think to yourself, where's the time gone when you look at it? Because I don't remember everything I've drawn. I know I don't have everything I've drawn, but doesn't mean I don't still try to improve what I've drawn. That's one of the hardest things to get yourself to do, is to improve yourself. Because, like, I know no matter what, I can always keep improving. Like, I'm not perfect with the drawing. Like, you can tell that for sure. I know for me, though, like, I'm someone who is very, like, careful with my drawings and stuff. And it's like, I try these different, like, things, flowers, etc. Just trying to get, like, these small bits that are kind of here that you don't normally see. And yeah, not all of them are pretty, not all of them are beautiful, but that's just part of art. Not everything is going to be this pretty as a posy type thing. There's imperfections, there's bits and pieces that are just kind of like broken, battered, and more. Much less the fact that you get these things that are like made in such a way that you don't fully know what is going to be there and what you're going to see. But that's okay, because no matter what, it's still you. And art is still art, things are still things. And that's okay. And yeah, some of my art may be a bit more subjective than others into what people are into, and that's okay. And it's the same for everyone's art. And yeah, I know that it's different for everyone, but doesn't mean you should doubt yourself for what you do have, because you would be surprised at how much some people might just enjoy your art or your thoughts or your just your own opinion on things. There's so many different things, and yet here we are. And that's okay. Like, when drawing, sometimes you just gotta let go. Just let your mind do the work. Let your mind just just put down the lines you see. So just, like, if I close my eyes and just let my hand guide me, and then just keep doing it, it leaves a pattern. While not noticeable at first, this can be made into something very interesting. Just with a little bit of creativity and a little bit of work, you can make this a very cartoonish type piece with two extremely fluffy doggos. Having a full out tug-of-war over a simple thing. And it may not look the best, but it's still... Sometimes you just gotta be thinking on something. Bit of perspective, in a way. And that's all you need to do, is just think of the perspective. Because sometimes a little bit of perspective change can wholly change a single image. From a simple swirl to a mermaid or a fish or something more. And that doesn't make it any less of a art piece in its own form. If anything, it just shows that it is more. And it doesn't have to be accurate or whatever you want. It doesn't need to be. Nor does it have to be beautiful. Because sometimes the smallest things are what truly make us who we are. And it's up to you to decide whether you're going to let something that you think is impossible for you to do hold you back. I know a lot of people want to use AI to replace artists, or because they think they can't draw, but I will tell you, you'd be surprised at what you can do with enough practice, with enough time. And that's something I've always held for myself as someone who does commissions is, no matter what, if someone asks for advice with art, I am there to help. Because I understand the struggle of learning. And yeah, it may not always be easy. And it may be tedious at times. Just the normal sphere, for example, let's just do a sphere. Getting the shading right on a sphere, of all things, because you got this light point here, and then you got all of this that needs to be shaded and shaded and shaded, but you don't think about the fact that sometimes it's not just about the shading, it's not just about that, it's about thinking, about feeling. It's less about the actual artwork over the art itself, because a little bit of that can change a lifetime. From simple orb to one that has a little more character than first imagined. Because now, alls I have to do is take a circle, do this, well, more of an eclipse, do this, and erase the outside, and you can already see the difference. Sometimes, alls it takes is a little bit of learning and a little bit of time. And you will find that some of the best pieces can be made that way. And the light source is never exactly in the right spot, it feels like, but in all reality, the light is off, especially on a sphere, because the brightest spot should be here, not here. And that's something you learn a lot over time, is how to use that type of stuff to your advantage. How to create an art piece that you can be proud of yourself is always the hardest, but you'll always get there eventually if you work hard enough. See? All it takes is just a little bit of work, and you can make something that feels out of the ordinary. And you can add little bits and pieces to this, where you just repeatedly add stuff, and in all reality, the only thing stopping you is yourself. Where is it? Because sometimes that's all you need. Something to just change your mind a little. And that's okay. And I love all sorts of manner of this stuff, because it just adds more to an already existing piece when you know what you're doing, despite everything. Knowing that there's different things like movement lines, knowing about how they work, perspective as well. That can be one of the most important things, is just understanding some of those basic principles. Because you can make something beautiful. Like the halo of a crown, or the mark of someone who needs it. The brain of the mind's eye. The feelings of a soul. Something that AI has yet to bring to the table. Humanity. The feeling and worry of the understanding of death, the impact of it, the impact of our souls as themselves, and the impact we have on those around us. That can make the biggest of differences to not just us, but to others around us. I love how you have all this weird shit and you just have this very accurately drawn balloon. But it doesn't change the fact we are who we are. We're all people, and we all have creativity, even if we don't realize it. And that's important to remember. We're not all the same, we all have our own creativity. And that's okay. Because in reality, our creativity is what makes us who we are. Makes us people, makes us think, makes us wonder. Without creativity, we can't think of all these possibilities, all these things. Without our own critical thinking, without our own creativity, it gets lost, and you lose a lot of the stuff that you would never think about. Like the joys of drawing, the actual true joys that come from it, as well as other things that come from it. The other people, the other minds, and the soul that every drawing brings, no matter how abstract, how weird. You can make anything possible with just a little bit of effort. Some things require more effort than others, but such is the nature of this world. Such is the nature of this world in general, having all of these trials, tribulations, but when you look at it now, look at it then, look at it at different perspectives in life, you realize that it's all just one art piece drawn by the world itself, showing us the cycle, the circle of history that keeps being redone because people don't prevent it. A cycle that has yet to be fully broken in a long, long time. Because when one cycle breaks, a new one starts. And it's up to a person, or well, the people, if they will make it a better cycle for others. And that's an important thing to think about. Do you want to make it a better cycle? Do you want it to be a different world? What does it take to make these things happen? And sometimes there is no answer, because the real answer is far greater than that. And we don't have to think about these huge things all the time. I think one of the coolest things to think about is when drawing, when doing these things like art and music and these artistic liberties, think about what makes you enjoy it. Think about the thoughts that you feel, the sources in your brain that just, even the smallest bit of creativity. Because I will tell you, as an artist, it will never be the exact same as your brain. It never will be. Every artist is hard on themselves in some form. I mean, we've seen that with people like Van Gogh, who cut off his own ear with his own issues. Which, yuck, but that's how it be sometimes. People's own mental health and issues. The capacity to hate oneself over anything else. That feeling of a pinching claw in a way, tugging on our own thoughts, just questioning. And yeah, we will question. We will guess, we will feel things, we will have moments, we'll never be exactly the same, but that's one thing that we all share, is there's always that self-hatred in the back of our minds. Hello, Nitty Kid. Welcome to the stream, and thanks! I drew it myself. I know for me, it's like, I look back, but as I was kind of like saying, there's always that part of us that is gonna hate what we draw, or what we do, and getting past it is one of the hardest things. But when you can look at something and just understand that while you may not see it as perfect, someone else might look at it and be like, this is a masterpiece. Because, yeah, I need to take a few shots to watch this stream with the tag furry in it. I mean, I found that, I know for me, literally, the whole point of this is just drawing from a singular dot. This is the second stream of me doing this, and it has gotten to a point where I think the best way to describe it is, what the fuck? Because even I don't fully understand everything that's coming from this, because on one hand, you got this shell, the next you have weird creatures, you have a Pac-Man anglerfish and stuff. Commission's open. I have an OC I want to turn into a furry. Yeah, I do commissions. I usually do this stuff in DMs, etc., where like... But yeah, I love doing all sorts of stuff, but yeah. I've turned my fair share of OCs into furries, so don't worry. And I've done the opposite as well. So, like, I remember, like... I mean, sure, you can send it in whispers, and I'll look at it, in a bit. I know, like, for me, I've gotten that, there was once a meme, I don't know how popular it is now, because I don't use Twitter and stuff anymore. I value my mental health more than that hellhole, to be completely honest. But I still remember it because someone asked me, because it was a whole meme to ask furry artists to draw humans, and the joke was on them because I took human anatomy. I know how anatomy works, and I have a full sketchbook of anatomy, and I can't show it on stream because they don't allow artistic nudity. Which, yeah, that's annoying. Because it's just part of the actual, like, human body is the anatomy, etc. Otherwise, I'd totally show off my anatomy stuff. Because I actually love drawing and stuff, and the anatomy is a huge stepping stone even for me now. Like, am I the best at it? No. But I definitely fall more into a cartoon type style too with some of my stuff, because that's just where I've kind of fallen. Mainly due to many things I've done. And I know not everyone enjoys a cartoon style, but honestly, I find it fun to draw in cartoon style because you get some of the weirdest things from cartoon styles. But it's kind of crazy now looking at it because I have some very rubber hose esque art in my own like areas. I don't even know why I just gave this person like hooves, but who the hell knows? Could be a minotaur for all we know. But it's interesting when you actually get to like do the stuff for yourself. Think about like all these different things and understand anatomy better. Okay. Oh, that's a cute little OC. Honestly, I think it's a really underrated thing to have parts that are like interconnected yet not fully connected. I think that's a really cool effect that honestly I don't see as much as I used to now. I know for me, I love that type of stuff, just being able to like look at it. No one's watching right now. You can check it out on the stream. 3 people are watching. You like my OC? I think it's really cool. I honestly love those types of OCs that just in general they connect in that more sci-fi-esque way because I have my fair share of stuff that does similar. I know for me, I am someone who is a nerd for like sci-fi and fantasy type stuff. I mean, my hours of D&D with friends speaks volumes in terms of how much I will nerd out about something because you can make some of the coolest things with it. I know for me, like, I can, like, for me, I am someone who definitely, like, I love when I can do commissions and stuff. Though I never get those, and it's so crazy. I know for me, like, let me, open one up that I've done, like, see if I can find it. It's somewhere. And I can't pull up a not safe for work one because I don't need to get banned off Twitch. Uh, oh my god, where did I put it? Please tell me I didn't accidentally put. Please tell me I didn't already put it into the flash drive. Because I have so many different art pieces that I have put into flash drives and stuff, um, as well as stuff that I have on hand. Like, I have my fair share of, like, artistic based stuff where it's just what the fuck? You know what? I'm not even gonna question that. It's weird. But I have all sorts of different art pieces that I just do for the fun of it. Like, for example, this is just one of the many things I draw. I go all out for some of them, other things I don't. I know for me, I'm always someone who enjoys the smaller things. Um, I can definitely like try and fit one into the art piece because this art piece is literally just random shit that pops into my mind. It's the dot project, so as I call it, where everything is started from a singular dot. I know that it's different for everyone, but it all starts from this singular dot that I made a black hole. If you give me a sec. I need to pull this up. Then okay. Send this to myself. Yes, this is one of the long parts about me is I send it through course not. Ah, yes. Dog. I don't know why it came up as, yes, dog. But, I know, like, just in general, I have some weird shit I have drawn. And I know everyone's different with things they've drawn. Like, for example, gonna start on this layer mainly. So I'm gonna kind of start, because it seems to have more of a box head, with just like a basic shape, for example. Because everything starts with basic shapes. Whether we like it or not, basic shapes are part of everything. And sometimes we can't avoid them fully. I know that that is something that will always exist, and that is okay. I know that, if anything, this kind of gives me something else to draw as well that I can kind of think of, so... You know, I should have... Give me a sec. I'm gonna redraw this sketch in another layer because, yeah. You know, it's crazy because I don't even realize sometimes that I have a glove on constantly, and I just don't feel it anymore. Like, that's kind of how it's always been for me, is... Like, I always have had this glove for so long, yet now it just... I don't even notice it. And it's not even something, like, weird or unnoticeable for a lot of people. It's more that I just don't notice it anymore. And I know it's mainly from getting used to it and stuff. And yeah, that's definitely part of it. I know that for everyone, it can be a mixture of things. And sometimes just adding a bit of something from like viewers is fun, in my opinion. Especially with streams. I think it adds a lot more of just things. Because I think one of the cool things about furry art is they can be plantigrade or digigrade, aka they can have legs that are more like this, or more human-like. And it just depends on like artist and person on which they prefer for the thing. And it's honestly something I enjoy a lot, is kind of learning like about these different artistic styles some people do use, and how some people do use them to their advantage. Because, like, just from the sketch alone, you can already see that there's some things that are off naturally. I'm drawing the top one from it, the white one. I'm thinking of how I can get the arrow to work with it. This is one of the hard things about changing up certain things, because you would be surprised at how difficult it can be to change a simple thing like a character and how they work. Because with the anatomy of humans and animals, it can be very weird. So, I need to fix this a bit. Name is Rig. That's cute. I know, I got some ideas for this, definitely, though. Because the cool thing about, um, especially when you do stuff without much knowledge of an OC, I think that can lead to some of the craziest stuff, too. Because you can find stuff that will lead to some interesting, like, outcomes. Because without the person fully knowing everything, you get moments. God damn it, it's the legs. That's it. Okay, now I know what's off. It's these legs. So I need to kind of take these legs specifically. I think one of the coolest things is when you're drawing things that you enjoy, no matter how much, like, you may change some things or grow with some things, there's always changes that will get made. Like, and there's an unwritten rule that happens quite a lot with artists, and I know why, and it is when you have a OC or Sona that has such vibrant, painful colors, it changes slowly. It's an artist's job to do it, basically, in a way. And it's not even purposeful all the time. And it is literally small changes over time, making it less and less painfully saturated so that it doesn't blind people. That's something I have noticed quite a bit. Um, I don't fully understand names of everything, like, personally. Like, I'm someone who does names differently than others when it comes to characters. But, like, I'm someone who can switch on a dime with characters because my own stuff with D&D, and it's kind of led to some more interesting things because you get these very, like, I don't even know how to explain it other than just shifty characters who you know are probably not good, but if you play them right, they can really trick the party, and it's fun when you get to trick the party. Nah, that doesn't look right. OCD in a nutshell. Trying to make things perfect despite that not existing. That is my OCD. I think one of the craziest things, though, is there are so many types of, like, tail and body movement and similar things just in natural nature, and it is so cool because it leads to some way more interesting, I think, is the best way to put it. Because the way you can kind of get, like, a square effect also, especially with, like, different creatures, is just sometimes you gotta do some things to affect it. And it can be anywhere and anything. I'm just debating how I'm gonna get this arrow to work with it. That's the one thing I'm doing. I like the design a lot, because there's that arrow there, and it's an interesting thing to think how I'm going to do it. And I know that like certain parts are going to be very off-formed right now because this is early stage of design. Like, I'm not someone who normally would do this, like, without normal commission stuff, but it's just a fun idea to kind of add some stuff chat might recommend and stuff. Wrong side. It would be on this side. Yeah. And then we have the thing, and I got an idea for it. Because I'm someone who loves magic and stuff when they're in, like, full things. And you can maybe, and like for some people, they probably don't understand, like, how I can see this. But I think the best way to explain it is, as an artist, you get used to it. Like, that's the best way to put it, is you get used to it. Rigged in Blender and 3D model software, the arrow controls squash, stretch. Oh, that's cool. I actually, I know how to use Blender. I just don't think about it as much. I know for me personally, with my more cartoon-esque style, some people don't always think about everything in cartoon style that you could do with it, sheerly from like the fact that you can add some crazy stuff with cartoon style. Like, for example, like with this, you can use the hair to kind of form an arrow. It's an unintentional arrow. Well, I'm glad you like it. I know that I personally, I don't know if I'm ever going to fully color this art, like full art sheet, but if I do, I know I would color this as well with everything because it's so cool. And I think it's one of those things of like, I would add people's like things if they like mentioned it and I had space and just wanted to draw some more because I love drawing. It's something I enjoy, it's something that I know others enjoy. And it's nothing like too big either for me because I draw a lot and it's not like it's gonna be the same as my commissions because those are specifically like catered of, yeah, this is very like specific, etc. Like my commissions when I do them are very like more time spent on things. Like I will spend weeks on a project if need be to make it as perfect as I can for the person because I want it to be perfect for the customer. Because that's who I am as a person, is I am a perfectionist in my own form, but I also care about things being good for customer, etc. And it can lead to some like moments of just time of not too much, but it also leads to other types of things as well because I don't really go instantly into some of the things. I go into depth, try to make it looks like Five Nights at Freddy's turned into furries. I mean, I want to fix certain things. And since you mentioned its like thing, I got ideaed. I got a crazy idea that I'm going to kind of do. But it's like I'm someone who does more cartoony style. That's just me. Not everyone does that style. This one, like here, I got an idea of how I'm going to do things. And I think this is probably going to be one of the few things that will always have color. Even if I don't, you know, have full ideas of every color, but since it's mainly white and black, I mean, it's already going to mainly be the color anyway. And since it's going to be like only a small part of this, you won't even notice certain things, but I still like putting as much detail as I can because that is just who I am. And I can kind of add like these little things of like just in general. And that's one of the cool things about art is you can just add like small bits and add so much character with it. The issue though comes with some of the stuff just being kinda off, etc. at times. And some people notice it, others don't, but yeah. I know, like, for me, I am someone who notices all of the flaws in an art piece of mine because that is just who I am. Are you making his arms up like he's getting arrested? Oh no, it's not getting arrested. It's more of, like, something that a lot of people do with magic is put their arms up in general. Plus, it also is a bit of an action pose for what I have planned here. Because now what I can do is I can add little bits and pieces here and there. Just adding a little bit of texture. But with a little bit of work... Oh, I should probably use this one instead. Because what it does allow is just a little bit of movement that kind of adds just a tiny bit. Because I'm kind of looking at how I can do this, and I think the way I can kind of do this to kind of look cool is and you won't even notice it at first that it's XYZ unless you like know for sure. It's just a small but subtle thing. And like for the hair thing, I can kind of like have it overflowing with magic a little. Sometimes that's all you need to do is just a little effect, and you can add a lot. He's getting angrier by the minute. Yeah, he really is. And I think like adding bits like this really just shows a lot of the other stuff. And what I can do here is something that anyone who uses Blender knows very well. The actual movement method effect, but instead of red and blue like it normally is, I'm making it blue and light blue so that it's actually like fully affected. And it's just a small thing that like is gonna lightly glow. Like it's nothing too big, but it's eventually it'll probably get like drowned out in everything else, but it's going to be the first thing with color. And it's just a small little thing. Like, it's nothing too big either. And I actually enjoy, like, doing cool stuff for people sometimes because you can get some really fun stuff. Because one thing I noticed about the piece when you showed it is that, yeah, it has a very angry look to it. So that's why I added more anger to it. I know that I actually found it really cool. I mean, with his... I know for me, a lot of people don't notice it, like, at first. But, I don't use white normally, because pure white is just not fun, in my opinion. I use gray, and that's like my main color for it, so I can just... This is one of the nice things about having this ability to just do this, is it just makes my job a little bit easier. And then with other stuff, I can just fill in with my filler. Because I have different pens and pencils for each. But yeah, this is going to be like the whitest thing that's going to be on here. And of course, you got to be careful about how you do certain things. And I can add little bits of things. I didn't add paw pads or anything, mainly because of the size, but got something small. I know for me, I just kind of keep it around with, like, paw pads. I don't always draw them, but when I do, I draw them big. I don't know what this is going to be yet, but I had an idea. The Roombas are attacking. God dang it, the damn Roombas are back. I don't know why I thought of that, but I did. I have such weird thoughts appear in my mind at so many different moments. Like, one moment I could be thinking, damn, this is a nice little Roomba. The next it could be, ah yes, let's draw a Mantis Claw-esque type thing. Where you have, like, this weird, like, body that looks kind of like the Collector from Hollow Knight, unintentionally. And you know what? It has a spike ball in a hand. I don't know. But it has 2 long legs. Hey Shitpie, welcome back. Made him for a reason, make him look like someone slurped energy from him. Yeah, I love different OCs and stuff. I hope you are well though, Shitspie. I'm doing fine. It's been a while. I know that yeah, I don't like, I never expected people to find the Dot Project interesting in any form when I first, like, did it last week. But honestly, I think it'd be cool if more artists did it, surely because it's a fun thing, just starting from a singular dot and then just drawing whatever just comes to your mind, or even just things that, like, chat recommends, as long as it's Twitch safe, can be a really cool challenge for some artists, because even if you're not an artist, it's still fun. Because you get to try all sorts of different things and different shapes. And it's weird because you get to do things you normally wouldn't when drawing. I know that if I were to do the rings to pop more, I'd need to redo the rings again. But the rings are gonna pop when I finish the background anyway, because there's gonna be a background to this other than just gray, most likely. And they'll pop more on that because it's gonna probably be like a very complementary color type background, so we'll see how that goes. But what the fuck is this? It's a snooty plague doctor with a butt. You know what? He's shaking the butt too. I don't know why I did this. It's so weird. You should totally try that. Yeah, I think it's really fun. I mean, this is mainly a thing where you draw your own stuff on the canvas, but that could totally be an interesting thing for chat. Like, of course, the moderation of it's going to be difficult, but I could totally see that being like an interesting chat interaction thing. But for now, it's mainly just going to be my drawings because I created this challenge just to test myself and keep practicing. And I think it's a fun way for artists to just keep themselves at a point where they can think about some of the most random shit and just draw it. And I think it's fun for anyone to try too, because even if you're not an artist, you can just do some of the most random shit and make something beautiful out of it. Like, look at this. There's this weird scythe head that also is a bird bone head starting to charge up a laser to shoot at this barrier that's magically held by a prism by a small pirate wizard with a giant hat. It's so specific and it's so weird, but it's something that just popped into my mind, and sometimes that's just how you have to go, is whatever pops into your mind. And I think a lot of people could benefit from it because I know there's a lot of people that I have talked to who I personally got to not use AI art who thought about using it. A lot of them were worried specifically about them drawing and not being good enough to make it look nice, or also money stuff, but like getting them to draw was not easy all the time. But when you get that first bit of drawing and you think about it and you try it, it's satisfying because you make something yourself, and it does not need to be perfect. It can just be something that you only see. Like, for example, let me open up a file. Like, there's stuff I don't show a lot on stream, but I have my fair share where I just draw my current emotions into things like this, where it's like this is an older piece of mine, and it's simply just how I feel put into a drawing. And I think that's one of the most important things about art is it doesn't need to look beautiful. It doesn't even need to look like a normal drawing. It could be as abstract as you want, as long as it means something to you. If it has feeling, art is more than just the finished product. It's about the process. And that process is so meticulous for some, but it can also be one of the most interesting for others. Because you could make two peppers in a relationship happy, and it's just like, and then they have two noodle arms each. They have the those snake with arms videos, arms, just the yay type stuff. And it's small stuff like that where you just do whatever the frick comes to your mind. And it doesn't need to be perfect. And you don't need to worry. You can just think, be, exist, and just be creative. And that is one of the best things I can give for advice is don't stop trying, be creative, and just do stuff. That's the whole point of this dot project that I created. And I think it would be cool if more people did it because it's not about making something beautiful, it's about the process, about doing random shit that goes into your mind, no matter how weird it is, be it a mountain with a funny hat or whatever similar. And you know what? That's okay because it's about the journey. So I'm going to try this. Only got back actually drawing for once. Feels like a perfect thing to do. I think it's really good because even for people who are practiced artists, it's a test to just test yourself and just be like, I get to just relax, like not even think sometimes and just let your hand do the work. Let your body do what it feels and draw what it feels. And that's one of the nicest things is you can just do what you want. I shit, you said. Cool. I'll look at it in a sec. But it's like, it's such an interesting thing. Because, no, that's cute. It's like a little ghost. I don't know why, but it reminds me of a specific character from a game. Oh my god. What's the game? Oh my god. I can draw the character, and I know what the character is. Like, it's specifically this character. And I know the character. I've never played the game, but I've seen people play the game. It kind of looks a bit like this. It's white and black, and I know it. And I can't remember the name. Has the little tail and stuff too. Oh my god. What is it called? Oh my god, that's gonna like pop back into my head randomly sometime. Because I think this is one of the most important things. TBH creature? No, it's not that. It's from a game. Um, it looks like this. It's a it has a tail. It has ears. The style is more reminiscent of like this. Type thing. Where it's very simplistic pixel art. It has words in it. And you have to connect these words. What is it called? Oh my god. I'm gonna be stuck on that now for like a long time, and I'm gonna probably remember it either midway through stream and be like, oh my god, it's that, or like middle of my day. It's Undertale shipment. Oh, that's cool. That makes sense, actually. Yeah, I know for me personally, I don't know what the different things. Oh my gosh. Burb. Just get the toes out. Get them bird toes out. But yeah, I don't. Oh my god. Oh my god. I know it. I know it. But I just. I. Oh my god. That's gonna annoy me. Because I don't know what the game is. Because I know what the character is. And random shit. I know, like. You look at stuff and you have like this very pristine and beautiful balloon with a sword and shit. And then you have this thing. Just this. Sometimes all you gotta do is just draw a line. And you can come up with some of the craziest stuff that you may never think of at first. And it can lead to some hilarious images. Like this. It's wearing the buckle, when in all reality, it's actually a rock. It's Rocky. Oh god. But like, I love this project as an idea so much. Like, I know that I can't keep looking at my whispers constantly, but oh, I love Rocky. I know, right, Rocky? Oh my gosh, he looks so nervous. I'm gonna give him two little hands too. He's a nervous one. I'll also give him a little curl to his hair. But I love some of the stuff that you kind of get from, like, just in general. Like, I love how, like, I can just very much draw a simplistic, like, and you can tell who this character is if you've played it, the game, specifically. Just from the simplisticness, even though, but surely because it's such an obvious character of Rauru. But, like, it's so fun to kind of play these types of little mini games for your mind and come up with all these new things to think about. Because without it, who knows where we'd be? I know that I personally am one who really enjoys, like, just in general, adding little bits of things and lore and other stuff to just random art pieces and random things in games. And I think this is one of the best ways, is just enjoying yourself while you do it. Because it adds a whole new level of just take your time to relax and chill with lo-fi beats and just enjoy the moment. Nothing to worry about, just art, beats, and a weird orange fluffy thing on your screen that may or may not carry some sort of disease. Who knows? I'll never tell. But it's fun, and I would love to see more artists do this type of thing. And I might just, like, first ever message on Blue Sky, the Dot Challenge, just so people can enjoy it as well. Like, I don't care if I'm credited for creating it or not, because the whole point, like, even if other people do it, because in all reality, you can. I don't care. But for me, it's not about the credit. It's not about becoming popular or famous. It's about becoming more one with yourself while doing it. Just taking time to relax and draw and feel, doing things that you may not normally do as an artist, or even if you're not an artist, just being able to spend time just trying something. And it doesn't need to be online, it could just be a simple piece of notebook paper and a pencil. It could be painting on a canvas. It could be crayon on a wall. It could be carving it into wood. And it doesn't. So, how's everyone going so far? I'm alright. I know, last I checked, my sister's really annoyed because it's freezing to an extent where it's dangerous for, like, people who use the bus, but my old high school where she goes now won't close down because, yeah, and they have to sit out there for like 15 minutes waiting for the bus every morning when it's even colder with the heavy winds and stuff. So as you can imagine, a lot of parents are angry, as well as my sister, who's just like, there's not good heating. Damn. Yeah, that also welcome to the stream 21. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, it's like damn. But since it's the principal's first year, I am counting on it almost certainly that they're very against doing it just so they can make a quote unquote good reputation their first year. Because I know it was the full district that didn't do it, but even then, I know that the principals have a lot bigger say than they want to admit because I knew the last principal, and he was one of the nicest people you'd ever meet. But he also just never understood the power of music and how much it did for the school, which sucks because I was a music student. Though we though we were able to do vocal jazz during my year before everything went to shit with COVID and stuff. I remember those years with school, etc. Oh god, it sucked. But I remember vocal jazz back in my day when I was doing it. We sang so many different songs that we that some of which we didn't even perform, but like we got to do stuff like Spain by Grove of Thought. If you've never heard it, I suggest it. Really good song. We did Chili Con Carne. Um, we did Autumn Leaves. A bunch of other ones too. Like there was Send in the Clowns was another one I did because I also was part of the chamber group. So like I was going in a lot of places just for that, and I still remember some of them. Like we did a acapella version of Africa. That one was pretty interesting. It was weird slapping my legs repeatedly to make the rain sounds because that's how it starts. Is it supposed to have like homemade rain sounds and stuff? And it's so weird but so fun. I wonder how some of those people are doing nowadays that were in that class with me. Because I know very well that one of them, despite acting very gay, was very straight. I've, and it's kind of funny to me. But he was probably the gayest acting straight guy I've ever met. And it was just his personality. He was a very energetic person. And I think that's the best way to put it is holy energy. Literally holy energy. But it's interesting now looking back because it's like I don't know where everyone went from that. Like I don't know where insert person's IRL name went like afterwards, and I know where some of them what happened to some of them. I know one of them turned out to be to find out they were trans, and I'm just like, congratu- con- congratulations when I found out because they started estrogen and stuff. I'm like, dang, I wish I knew sooner. Because it's like, dang. But it's nice when you get to like get in contact with like old friends and stuff. I remember we had to do team building exercises, and one of them was pitch black hide and seek in the theater. Someone almost fell off the stage, and it was kind of awkward. I got a new pocket knife recently, and it has a really cool half an hour, and I managed um, really cool opening closing mechanisms. I've been fidgeting with the past half an hour. Managed to give myself so many accidental cuts on my fingers. Please take it away from me. I am. I legally have to say, don't do that. But in my personal self, I don't have any the sharpest things I have near me are the corners of my desk, some scissors that I have in my desk, my pens and pencils, and that is it. Because I haven't had a knife in years. Ever since they were taken away from me. Because I have had my fair share of moments as when I was younger. I was not a very happy person. And I think that's the best way to put it. But yeah, I would if I could. I know how to carve with like wood and stuff using pocket knives. I used to do it, and I will say it's very fun. So like one thing I'd suggest is if you're going to keep doing that, maybe wear some sort of handguard or start carving wood. It's fun to carve wood. So sometimes all you gotta do is just find a way to use it in a less painful way. Take it from me. It will be way more worth it in the end. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but we'll find out together. Oh, I carve wood a lot. Yeah, carving... I was someone who did quite a bit of carving when I was younger. I know now I don't as much anymore. There's one thing I did do when I was younger a lot, and that's sculpting. Like, if I look up at one of my shelves, I have this clay figure of a Wendigo skull, and I can kind of, like, draw a little representation of how it kind of looks. Um, and it is very, like, big. It is not a small piece at all. And mind you, I put this all together in my ceramics class, and I'm kind of looking up where it is, and, like, because it kind of goes up here, and then you got down here, where it kind of goes out with more teeth. Then I had two teeth here that helped to hold it up better. Like, it is a very big clay project, and you can tell, like, it is pretty bulky. Just from, like, and this is just a crude sketch of what I can see from here, because in reality, it doesn't even, like, compare to what it actually looks like, and I don't have it on my computer. And even if I did, I'd have to blur some stuff out so I don't accidentally reveal anyone or anyone's location from a place I used to live. So, yeah, good for me. But it's like one of those things where it is a huge thing. Like, it is heavy as well. Now I'm just adding on to it, and I don't even know what I'm adding, but it's still cool. But, like, I remember that year I was supposed to be in normal ceramics, but my teacher moved me to advanced and said, okay, finish that project. I want to see what it comes of it. So he moved me to advanced so that I could finish the project instead and get points as if I were in advanced, so it wouldn't hurt me as much for not doing the normal projects because of how much time I had spent on that. Because, mind you, one of the horns, I believe, is naturally broken as well because that's how I did it. Like, I spent so much time on some of them that, like, on some of my projects, like, I have a full wireframe wyvern that I accidentally used solder wire in, so it's heavier than it should be. Like, I spent so much time on some of those projects that, honestly, it's kind of crazy. Like, I am someone who did a lot of sculpting and still does quite a bit of sculpting now. Nowhere near what I used to, but it's fun to kind of do those types of things for me. Sent me your weirdest one yet? I'll look at it in a bit. Oh, trust me, not a lot weirds me out. Like, in all seriousness. Oh, that's cool. Like, if we're talking about weird, there's stuff I like can't show on Twitch because either because it like literally is against TOS. Like, I am someone who draws a lot of like Halloween like gore stuff too. Personally, I think Can I show this on Twitch? I can't show that one. I can't show that one. That one has a dead like corpse zombie thing, but I don't think I can show it because of other things on there being just lots of chaos. Because I have a whole folder of like Halloween and just art related to that, because that is something I used to do quite a lot of. Show on stream, I want to see all your viewers. I can't. I am not going to show it on screen, but this is what I can probably show. A Wendigo one I did quite a long time back. But yeah, this is just one of the many, like, different things I have in my Halloween folder. Like, there's some stuff I literally can't show on stream because, yeah, like, one of it is literally, because I used to do the Inktober stuff, for anyone who knows what that was. And I was someone who has a lot of stuff. Draw my OC character and then flip a sheep girl for me. I mean, I did the OC thing once. I don't know if I'll draw it or not. But I will say, don't post links in chat again unless it's a clip, please. I haven't... Automod won't let me set that up yet because it's been an ass to me. But just don't post links in chat that aren't clips, please. Unless I give permission. It's my only thing I kind of have. Like, I'm one of those people who can be pretty chill with that stuff, but yeah. Like, as much as I like the whispers, I'm only gonna go so far. Because I can't keep looking over at them if I want to finish this project ever. Doesn't mean I won't look at them, like, after stream and stuff. But I definitely will look at it eventually. Like, it's more of an eventually thing. I know that yeah, that's the best I can really say. I know that, frick, what was I talking about before then? I forgot. New idea of things. Has anyone here watched Lego Ninjago when they were younger? Like, the show and stuff? Do you guys remember that show? I don't know whatever happened to it. I just kind of stopped watching one day, and I don't know whatever happened to it. But does anybody remember it? Because I remember it vaguely. Like, I remember seeing the snakes and stuff, and just thinking to myself, oh no, they're hot. And that's when I realized, you know what? I might be into scaly guys. Because something about how they, like, spoke, but also how they looked was just... I don't get it. I don't get why it was endearing to me. And that's one of the weirdest things for me. Still haven't built Minecraft house like 6 years, but I started decorating my farms. I recently made a small gold farm into an IRS. Very appropriate. You know, hell. Yeah, that fits quite well, actually. I still think about that one IRS news story that they got lots of flack for because they taxed a little girl's lemonade stand that she was using for, like, I believe it was for her, for like to help with an illness that one of her family members had, which still pisses me off to this day that that was even an issue. Then a bunch of people raised money with GoFundMe or something like that to, like, get the money back for her through their money. It's just like, fucking IRS. Also, it says something that Joker isn't scared of Batman, but he's scared of the IRS. That's still one of my favorite scenes from the animated Batman show, is the Joker is terrified of the IRS. Which, fair. Be terrified of the IRS. It's a good thing to be terrified of. Because the IRS will not fuck in, like, it will not be good to fuck with them. And I think that's the best way to put it, is don't fuck with the IRS. And I think that is pretty good to live by for anyone. Because the IRS is terrifying. Oh, actually, both hell and a gold farm. Yeah. Press where you're still able to get tax ID that after. I still find that kind of crazy. It's just like, how are they gonna fucking enforce it? Break into a bunker? Break into people's graves? We all know if they could, they would tax the dead. Like, if they could actually, like, do more with the dead besides what they already tax on. We know they would if they could. Like, the fuck? Fun fact, if you've ever played Rogue Tower, that's actually something you can do, is you can tax the dead. Like, I find that to be one of the funniest things, is you can tax the dead, until I thought to myself, oh wait, this is something they would totally try and get away with if they could. I think the only... Oh, this is amazing. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing, like, semi-separated now. I guess I kinda just needed to make it. But for me, it's like, with where I am, the IRS can have me when they earn me, but I hate the fact that they expect you to know so much when you go in without telling you. Because it's not required in the school system to know how to do taxes and shit, so it's just like, it was such a huge hurdle for me when I first had to do it. Like, oh my god, it was a nightmare. And Lord fucking knows why they decided to, but damn. I don't even know what the fuck this is anymore, but it's cool. But such is how it is sometimes. I know that, like, personally, it's just insane. Honestly, though, I love art so much. And I think one of the most important things to kind of remember when drawing is nothing's perfect. And I feel like I need to reiterate it so much because people just don't like to think about it. And it's like such an important thing. And it's kind of crazy looking at my art now, knowing what I do, knowing how much I've changed. And it's just like, damn. Also, if you remember the greenhouse project in my creative world, in my free time I did a bit more on it and I actually completed most of the inside. I just need to add like a few small things. But I also started working on the outside a bit. I have two of the glass panels in the roof done. Um, I also have like an outside water source thing that I'm gonna put like giant lily pads in and stuff. I have bigger plants, all sorts of different things that I just went out of my way to do for the fun of it. Just because I can. I know that I might not do that on stream as much as I used to, but it's still fun. I know that just in general, though, it's definitely kind of there in terms of a point of like, here we go again. And that's kind of how I feel. But, sometimes that's just how it be. Give me God of War. I don't know why that just popped into my head. Yeah. It looks like one of those, it looks like a Diglett, so. Diglett dig, Diglett dig. It's a Diglett with a black eye. Also, I think the funniest thing is you can actually see under Diglett now, um, and other times due to certain things, and it just is this. Just rock. Well, actually, I do know quite a lot about toxins, and I'd say I'd been more or less prepared with shit I'd graduate since. Really, kind of so much personal zeal. School taught me nothing on the subject. Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the biggest fuck ups schools have made is not teaching enough about how taxes work. Like, I was lucky enough that I had some teachers teach me about it, but even then, it's like the fact that it's not a required thing is insane to me. I know that personally, though, was crazy. I know that for those of us who are lucky enough to be younger and not have to worry about taxes, it's nice. Real. Yeah, like I wish there were more teachers out there like the ones I had because God, I was so lucky with some of them because they were great. And I wish there were more great teachers out there like that that just people would not treat so horribly, especially because it's like they don't get paid enough for the bullshit they get put through sometimes. One of my favorite ones is my history teacher for civics, and I still remember someone saying getting punched in the dick is worse than giving birth, and her just retorting, "How would you like to give birth through your penis?" straight to his face, and it was so fucking hilarious, and I'll never forget it because it's just she said it so deadpanned too, and it was so hilarious because it's like you don't expect because that was like early in the year before we fully knew the type of person she was. And let me just say, sick and twisted sense of humor in some ways, but also really fun to be around. But she was a great teacher, and she was part of the history club for me. And I am known there for so many reasons because I still remember I'm one of those people who just I don't mean to make people cry, etc. But let me just give you the story of it. Why I am known in the history club like as a legend. And it is because something I've always had an issue with is I will see people and I'm like, okay, probably an issue. Don't have schizophrenia. Don't know why. Don't know how. Turns out, no, these are real people. I only found out about that surely because I met a person, let's just call her Angela, who's one of my friends, and I accidentally didn't realize because I thought the person next to her was, you know, normal. And when she was confused, I just described them because I was confused myself because that was before I knew any of about this. And I had described her brother who had passed, and it's like, oh fuck. Oh fuck. And that will forever make me feel so bad, even now, because it's like, I still feel bad that I accidentally did that, but it's like, that's the only, and it's not like it's a one off occasion. So, what made me a legend in the History Live thing is, I made people cry because we were at a historical site. I hadn't been there before, didn't know much, didn't even know it was a historical site before that day, but apparently I described people's from the history of it in detail that I shouldn't have known, which worries me a lot even now because it's like it's happened enough times where it's not a coincidence anymore. and not just some random lucky fluke or like weird thing. And that's what always has kind of worried me internally, because it's like, I don't choose to see this shit. I don't want to see this shit. Why does it have to choose me? Like, that's how I kind of feel about it, because it's just like, I'm someone who is a very skeptical person on that stuff in a lot of ways. But even that was too weird for me. And it kind of, like, I'm less skeptical now because I've kind of experienced it, but I still am skeptical a lot about that stuff in general. Oh, teachers absolutely go through so much. You know how Germany has a law like teachers don't mean jack shit in court if they've been working for a year because the occupation fucked them up so badly. I mean, yeah. Like, it's honestly sad how much teachers have to go through. Like, I love the teachers I had. I had so many good teachers in high school and stuff. Middle school is another story entirely, but like, it's crazy to think about some of it because like I know like some of those teachers personally and still talk to some of them. Like, for example, my choir teacher, we had a nickname for her. I won't say, mainly because that is not really anyone's business besides her students, and it might have changed. Who knows? I doubt it has, but she was such a fun teacher, very joyous, a bit religious, but didn't let that like cloud any views of hers or anything like on people. But if you managed to make her angry or anything else, that's how you knew you fucked up. Because I'd only seen her angry once. And it was because someone did something that they shouldn't have. They recorded someone who had, like, they secretly went out of their way and recorded someone who was having a medical issue during class that they had to call the nurse for while JMO was helping them. Um, did I just... I think I just accidentally said it. I don't know. I might have just... Yeah, but it's like... And it was at that moment he knew he fucked up. Yeah, exactly! That was everyone's thought. It's like, what fucking asshole did that? Because she was such a good teacher. Like, and she's still there. She plans to retire eventually, but I feel horrible for her sometimes because it's like, she doesn't deserve the shit. But a lot of the choir students are so nice. Like, and that's one of the nice things is she actually, a lot of the choir, it was that like one-off thing. Like, oh shit, stuff fell. Give me a moment. How bad? Okay, nothing too broken. Just something that's already been broken multiple times, and is still broken that I haven't put together. Eh, it happens. Okay, but it's like I will never understand what goes through these people's heads and just is like, oh yeah, let's fuck with this teacher or do this. Like, there's a time and place, and that was not the time and place to do what they did. And it still, to this day, oh my god, it pisses me off. Because it's like, it's not your thing to film, and you shouldn't be filming this. Like, just so annoying. I also had a teacher who, very well known due to her family, because her great aunt, I believe it was, but her family is, she's part of the family that created Casper the Friendly Ghost, and she was my painting teacher, and Holy crap, was she such a fun person. My favorite thing is she's like, and if there's ever an intruder, just remember, you throw shit, and I take this hot dog fork and go stab, 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 stab. Let's say another comes in. We stab him again, as you keep throwing shit. And don't forget, you can throw whatever you like, as long as you can pick it up, including the couch. Because she had a couch and stuff in her room too, because part of her thing was it's always good to be comfortable. While we weren't allowed to paint on the couch and stuff, it was about comfort, but also like feeling more at home. And she was so fun. Crazy teacher. Like, she was that one teacher that, like, full on crazy in her own respects, but one that people loved. And it was so crazy, but so fun. So many good teachers out there that you can find that really don't deserve any hate or anything like that they get. So fun kind of exactly, the fun kind of crazy. Like, and the thing is, with her, all her students were like her kids in a way. And you could tell how much she cared. And I don't know how she could do it some days. I really don't. But she did. And she was honestly one of the funnest teachers I've ever had. One that, like, you could talk to about stuff, and, like, our families are really close, so, like, I knew her before that. And it's so cool to think, because, yeah, I was able to meet this person, but, like, she's someone that, like, you could enjoy being around for hours. She was also able to get the rights to do the Harry Potter quiz, like, for what house you are in. She got the legal rights to be able to do that in her class, like, with all the answers, etc. Of course, she has to keep certain things secret, etc., but it's still really cool. But I still remember one thing she kind of mentioned to me that she found interesting, and it was that of all the students, I was one of the only people she had ever seen who, with their score, had an exact 50-50 between Hufflepuff and Gryffindor in terms of my points with them, which I find kind of funny. So, like, she had me choose whatever I wanted because she put us into the houses. Because she's a Harry Potter fan and stuff. Mainly just in general, but it's so interesting looking now. Well, my teacher's probably my only history teacher because she's very, how do I put, politically active, you know. Pro-war advocating for Sarvinus. Ah. Yeah, there's people like that. I think one of the most interesting things is I had a, for my American problems teacher, I actually had someone who was a retired Navy vet as my teacher, and I still remember him because he's where I learned about some of the stuff, and he's like, something that they don't always talk about but is very known in the Navy is what they did to Hawaii. But he also talked about a lot of interesting things about, like, how they were trained, but also, like, he was able to talk about things in such a neutral way that you could do it in a very fun way. Same for the one civics teacher I had. We basically would have this weekly thing where throughout the semester everyone would eventually go, and we had to write something on a recent news story, basically so that we could understand more about how news outlets work and how it affects our view on things. And it would basically be a class session where we have that, and then we talk about some stuff related to it. And it was really interesting because I remember, like, I remember the Bishop Braxton incident that became, like, countrywide Because he told a bunch of like middle school kids that Santa wasn't real and shit. And I still remember her saying, "Talk about Bishop Braston instead of Braxton." I'm just there dying internally of laughter because it's so bad but so good. But it's like there's a reason. Like I actually looked into his past and stuff. Did you know that bishop took funds from the freaking, like, apparently he took funds that only the Pope is allowed to touch and stuff for few things. He did a bunch of like really shady shit. And somehow he was, last I checked, he was still a bishop, but I believe he recently got replaced. But it's still like, what the fuck? I don't know how countrywide it became, but I remember hearing about it. I'm like, holy shit. Because it was bad. Like, he said it to a whole group of kids who were like, mind you, at most they were not even 13. They were like 12 at most, I believe, and if not lower. And he just outright just said that. And it's like, that's not his choice. And think how many childhoods he ruined too. It's so fucked up. But it's like, what the hell? And I don't know if anyone like remembers it, because I remember it being something that was covered like in like a full on like, just in general, the news for the entire like US after a point because of where it had gotten. And I remember it vaguely. And it's so dumb because it's like, really? What an imbecile. But who the fuck knows? And it's like, I don't get it. I'll never understand that stuff. Because it is such a weird thing. Make the hat there, and but it's like, it's so dumb. I know for me personally, my thought on Santa comes from my parents mainly, and it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, doesn't matter how gay or straight, doesn't matter. The real the real peop the real Santa Claus is more than just a myth. Someone is a Santa Claus if they are willing to go out of their way to even perform a small bit of kindness during the holidays or in general, just to make someone happy, because a real Santa Claus spreads joy, not just gives gifts, because the real gift is the joy that you get during the holidays with the people you care about, but also for others who may not be as fortunate. And I think that's one of the most adult ways to kind of look at it in some form, but also, like, it's a very good way to look at it just in general because everyone is different. But one thing we all share is a need to be cared about in some form through love or kindness, to be shown something, because we are social creatures compared to many animals. We are a very social race, like wolves and other things. Just, well, species more or less, actually. But we are way more social as a species than some species, because it's how we survived. It's how a lot of species survive too, but our social structure is completely different. And it's constantly changing. Like, something a lot of people forget about, like, some of our words that we use in English and other languages are rooted in some pretty fucked up things, but also that's part of the social structure. And it doesn't mean that they still mean those things, because our social structure and our language has changed constantly since it was created like that. And yeah, doesn't mean it was any less fucked up, but it's interesting to look at it from a different point of view, at a different time or place, because you get these fancy, like, very quiet, but also loud, and these boisterous people. You get these people of all different types and religion, and the holidays is such an important thing for some people because for someone it might be the last holiday they have with someone, or their first holiday without someone. It might be the first holiday in a long time where they have had someone just say hi or even care enough to check in on them. And that little bit of kindness can go a long way, because we don't know what others are going through. But we can at least give the respect to treat them as people. And that's what everyone deserves, no matter your age, no matter your religion, no matter your sexuality. Everyone deserves to be treated like a person. And I think that's one of the best things to remember, is you are a person. Everyone is a person. No one is perfect, and that is okay. Because while you may not be perfect, if we were in a truly perfect world, nothing would change. There would be no happiness, no sadness. It would all just be bland and boring. So, in reality, imperfection is what truly allows us to have the things we have in terms of joy and sadness. But one thing I will always remember is the line, grief is just a culmination of love. It is something you feel when you lose something you love, as all things do, and grief is a normal part of life. No matter what you do, it will always exist, and that is okay, because we can learn to grow and become stronger from it. And it's the same thing with mistakes too, because without mistakes, we don't learn, we don't grow, if it's kind of the thing of, if I had to choose to go into battle with someone, I would rather have a war general who has made multiple mistakes than one who has never made one, because because the one who has made mistakes would understand where certain things can just fall and just be screwed over. And that's something important. And yeah, not everyone's the same as me on that, but it's still cool to think about. I know that not everyone will feel the same as me, but they don't need to. In all reality, we're the sum of our choices, and art is just a reflection of our mind, our soul, our body, whatever you'd prefer to call it. Art comes from life, and from life comes death, and from death comes grief, and from grief comes change, and from change you can make a better future and a better world. And that small bit of change in any form can do a lot more than people realize. Even in art, a bit of change makes a whole lot of difference. Because you can make some of the most beautiful pieces of work with just a little bit of change. you can make one of the most mesmerizing pieces of work with just a little bit of change, a little bit of feeling, a little bit of emotion. Even if you don't realize it, your emotions are put into these art pieces, these words on a page, these mindless thoughts, actions. And it can create some of the most fancy, but also most interesting things that you may ever know. Because you could write a simple line, a simple phrase, talking about manners, talking about the body, talking about the mind, and you can make it fancy. And that is okay. And I know that not everyone is the same with how they feel about certain stuff, but honestly, I think that makes it so much more fun and interesting. It's such a cool thing looking at everything and how it works. I think it's funny because there are some things that just look so weird in cursive, but also like, because I still remember some of the cursive. Like, some of the cursive letters don't even change much. And it's kind of funny. Because, really? That's how it feels. Because they don't need to change. But they do. Like, some of them change so much, too, that it's like, what the fuck? But a simple alphabet can make a bigger change in someone's life than we may think. But it's cool when you look at it now. Sorry I'm not as active in chat, I'm just doing something. Oh, that's fine. I know that, like, just today in general, it's just to chill. That's the main point of these types of art streams, is chilling. And just enjoying yourself. Like, you don't need to be active in chat. Like, that's never been a necessity for me. I know that personally, I just feel like everyone should take time to relax and enjoy themselves wherever they can. I don't know what this is, but it looks interesting. I know one thing I plan to start eventually is God of War New Game Plus in my on my personal file thing, just to try it and like play it for the first time. And I'm gonna be doing Give Me God of War. Give me God of Boy. Dad of Boy. Ah, yes. Boy. I will say, though, so many times did I want to slap Atreus in the 2018 God of War. It's just like, oh my fucking god, you absolute little shit. But, nonetheless, I know I have my fair share of things I really want to, like, just do. I know I'm excited for... I know tomorrow stream is gonna be modded Stardew, is the plan. And then the stream after that will be continuing Dicey Dungeons. I know that's probably the worst performing of all the things I do, but I personally enjoy Dicey Dungeons. I know not everyone enjoys it, but... eh. I don't care about if people enjoy everything I do, because people still seem to enjoy it in some form. Kind of obliged to bring something to the conversation. Like, I'm a Twitter viewer, and my primary function chat, like, very selling point of Twitch, isn't it? I mean, yes and no. It kind of depends who you ask. I know, like, one thing is just being able to stream is one of the main selling points. But I don't require people to chat in the chat and just go, chat in the chat, chat in the chat. I don't require that. The whole point is just to chill. Be you a lurker, be you someone who chats in the chat, etc. And that's okay. So don't ever feel obligated to having to. Because you're not. Did I just make a pregnant flower? What the fuck? I don't know how to feel about that. What I do know, though, is... it's weird. I know that personally, I want to do more, like, fun stuff when I get my PC fully built and fixed up and done. Because when I do that, I have a big plan. Make sure you stay hydrated, by the way. Because, I will say, I do have some plans for games I want to play. And we'll see where it goes from there. Who knows? I know personally, I am enjoying myself, just chilling, and just not even thinking. Kind of just not even picking up a pen or pencil, just closing my eyes and letting my mind do the work. Because you can make some of the most weird shit just by doing it. Because, for all we know, this could be some sort of weird alien creature that we know nothing about. Looks weird? That's the point. It's kinda nice being able to just draw and relax with lo-fi. I know not everyone enjoys that, but I know I do. I know, for those who have never drawn, etc., it's worth learning. And not everyone is into it, but they don't need to be. And that's okay. I don't know what I'm gonna put in the bag. I might just keep it a bag. Who knows? Or I turn it into a door. Who's to say? What I do know, for sure though, is that I enjoy the process. Even if other people don't. I do. I mean, I've been drawing for almost 3 hours. Probably gonna end the stream at hour 3. I don't know. Just depends how I'm feeling. I just felt a huge pressure change. That's not good. And I only know it's a pressure change because of how it's affecting my body. I mean, I know we're supposed to have storms, like more storms, but Jesus. It's so weird feeling. Like, for those of you who don't feel it, it's kind of hard to explain, but for those of you who do feel the pressure change more, it's really weird feeling when you do fully feel it. Because sometimes you'll just be perfectly fine, la-di-da, and then just bwom. Just out of nowhere. And you never fully know what's gonna happen with it. Like, who the hell knows? What I do know, though, is I am happy about this because I get to do this. Just don't ask. This is actual, like, a real, actual, like, plush thing I have on my desk. Don't know why. It's just something I have. I have a lot of weird shit on my desk. I know that, like, just in general, like, I am so glad I found this DMCA free music. Because it really makes my job a lot easier for finding the music. Because, hoo boy. It's honestly nice, though, just being able to chill. I know that, like, I'm just happy that I get to kind of just chill. Like, you may not even realize fully, like, everything you do and feel until after, but I will say, worthwhile. I know I'm someone who loves doing all sorts of stuff like this, where I just kind of go crazy. And I hope other people get to enjoy it as much as I do. I know that frick, I forgot what I was talking about. Brain blast. I know that not everyone feels the exact same as like me with certain things, but it is fun when you get to do this type of stuff. I know that I repeat stuff a lot. My brain go burr. It's harder to think of stuff sometimes when you're just like kind of head empty moment because your brain got fried from just one random thing. And I don't know why it'd be that way. But the whole point of this art piece is to look at it from different angles and always see something that you don't expect. Like, just for me at least. Like, the real point is for fun, but like, my personal thing is I want to make this like something where no matter where you look, there's always something new and random. And that is okay. Okay. Then you have this. Then it kind of hangs from there. I don't know what I'm making, but it's cute. Ding-a-ling. Alls I know is I'm just enjoying myself here. With the nice music and weird art. That's always one of the nice things about this that you can kind of enjoy. I know that not everyone is as into that as me, but you suit you. And then, boop. And then I can probably fit one in here. Yep. One in here. One in here. One in here. The whole point of this X is... I don't know what the whole point of the X is other than making something weird and interesting. Doop doop. Doop 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 doop. Huh. This looks kind of weird but fancy at the same time, and I like it. Kind of like this. Oh, now some weird butterfly. Nice. Like, I have so many things I want to play, I want to do, I want to try, I want to feel. But I just can't do on a laptop, and it's like, oh, dang it. I don't know why today I'm just feeling like the circles and stuff. I just kind of am. And I think that's one of the things that everyone kind of has some days is there's just that one thing you like are feeling for some reason. Be it shapes, be it weird design patterns, be it something completely different. But alls I know for sure is it is weird. But cool. You ever wonder if, like, the person, um, have you ever seen the frickin', theory for the Polar Express where they're all dead? Like, that's probably one of the most fucked up theories for, like, a movie ever, but it also makes more sense than I'd like to admit. And I hate that. Because I don't want it to make sense as much as it does. Which, yeah. Oh boy. There we go. You can already see what I'm making, but oh, that wheel looks so weird. Then that, then that, then that. And then that. Then we kind of have this type of thing. Then it kind of goes. But it specifically is like one of the wheels, so that when it moves everything like. Like I vaguely remember it, which says something about me, I guess. Can tell what type of nerd I was when I was a kid at times. Not just a train nerd. A steam train nerd. I don't know why I was such a nerd for some of this stuff, but I was. Don't know why I was the way I was, but I can be that way. There we go. What number should we put on it? You know what? It'll be the KD. For Kaya's Draco, because why the fuck not? Technically it wouldn't even go there. And it would... yeah. There we go. It would probably be more like that in terms of its look. I don't know. And that's if it had something around it. Trains are such an interestingly random thing when you look at it. Alright, I'm back. Welcome back. Hope you're well. I know I am. I know that whatever I'm making, it'll probably be alright. Maybe it won't. Who's to say? Amogus? Crying? It's a crying Amogus. Wait, I gotta make this better. Gotta add the puppy. All 4 legs included. No, poor fella. It's sad, Amogus. He's so sad. The reason he's sad, who's to say? Alls I know is this guy's happy. And why is he happy, you may ask? Because he's annoying an apple. This says something about my age when I know that stuff, because I was there when it was born. Just a little adipose. So cute. I love all sorts of, like, fiction and stuff. Like, there's some really cool stuff in fiction. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Some sort of flower thing. Who's to say? Nothing says it has to make sense, though. So that's the good thing. I aged like 3 years. I know, right? Really makes you realize how old you are when you realize that came out so long ago. Because it doesn't feel like it. Fun fact, I actually have a lot of random connections to people to an extent where I could technically, like, talk with the voice actor who does Gru from Despicable Me and stuff, like, and I find that so funny, because it's like, surely because of people I know, I can make all sorts of random calls, and just, oh yes, get some really, really weird people, just talk to them. And just, it's so funny. Thinking about 2010 and 5 years, so. 2010s? It hasn't been 5 years, it's been 4 years, but. Yeah, 2010's been 14 years since. Frozen came out in 2013. It's over 10 years old now. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's insane to think about. Because you don't think about it either until, like, now. And it really makes you just go, damn. Because it's very specific, too. And there's no reason for it to be very specific. But it is. Frozen is 11 years old. God. It's almost 11 years old at least. I don't even know what the fuck I'm creating anymore. Then again, have I ever truly known? But yeah, with time and everything, it's kind of crazy. Bum. I know that I am just surprised by some of it. Okay. Oh, it's a spooky ghost with little ghost arms. Oh no. I honestly love just being able to chill and do all this. Like, even if I'm one of the only ones doing this as a project, it's still fun. I don't even know what this is, but it's cool. You know what? I know what it is now. It's knitting. It's a flamingo knitting. Lol. This is like 12 hours worth of lo-fi, I think. Like this whole video that I have. And it's not even the last thing in the playlist I created. Because I have like a bunch of DMCA free music. I have like 3 days worth of it, I believe. In terms of actual time. So, like... Lamau. Da, 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 da. This is looking a lot better. Just going through. And just adding little bits of tension and negative and positive space. It adds a lot. Because adding sometimes those positive and negative elements of space add a lot more to just a drawing. And I think that's one of the most important things with this is just that balance. And I might even just make that dot in the middle a completely special color. But even then, it's like, does it matter? I know that, like, for me, I am just happy that I got this, like, looking relatively good. So. And I can just, like, smudge shade this a little with the blending and blurring. And then I can just add a little bits and pieces. And then I can add a little ching, ching, ching. There we go. Now it looks like it has an eye and stuff too. Small stuff like that to kind of break up the negative space more and just adding stuff to just these existing things. and it kind of just feels nice. And then I can just... Because it adds just little bits and pieces, which is what I want, are these little bits and pieces to just kind of break it up. Because it does add a lot to it. Then I can kind of like break this up in little bits. Just small things. And it just adds just a little, as you can see. But it also adds so much to this. Bop, bop. I want to add something here. And then I'm just gonna... No, I'm just gonna... do that, and we'll kind of go through with the eraser a little, just... And you'll see something cool I can do. With this... Just need to like kind of like smooth it out a bit. Then just like little bits here and here, where it just gets smaller and smaller, but you can still kind of see it, and then you just then you can just put like little and it's kind of like a void of stars for them. That's cool. Let's save this real quick, because I think this is honestly a pretty good place to kind of leave this off as we kind of look at it from a different angle again. And you can see there's so much changing in this for each time we do something with it. More gets added, more changes. And honestly, it's nice. As we add bits and pieces more to the lore of this singular dot project. I know eventually we'll continue it on stream again, but it's still nice to just kind of chill, have those chill vibes. But I do hope that you all have wonderful days. I am gonna go am gonna go do stuff I need to do, and I will be seeing you later. Tomorrow we should be having modded Stardew, and I will see you then. Bye bye, guys. Hope you have wonderful days. See ya. Bye.